when I get on the live?
We're getting ready to go. I have to turn one on and the other. Hello, Instagram family.
Welcome back to Bridges on Monday night.
Oh, man.
We have Ashely, of course.
Of course.
Hello world. Hello, beautiful queens and kings. Time for Bridges, the medicine of the week. Yes.
Not gonna lie, it was slightly bothered.
Yes.
And we're hitting Facebook.
Tomorrow night is the premiere of Pose. Okay, so everybody, please watch Pose.
What's Pose?
Pose is a series of LGBT of the gay community. Baby, Pose is like phenomenal. It talks about the back in the day balls that we used to have with like the famous Crystal LeBlanc and all of them, all the different drags like Ivana. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's a good series, a good show called Pose. Season 2 it's premiering tomorrow on FX at 9 p.m.
Do you have anything you're doing with the Pose? Or is it just you're promoting it? What's going on?
Yes, I'm actually I actually am doing a story on Crystal LeBlanc. She was the first African American drag queen that actually spoke out against racism in the gay ballroom community, the gay drag shows, because they used to make like the black girls put on really bright white makeup to cover up their skin to even get a chance.
Wow.
Win. So she got tired of it and she just spoke out and she was like, it's very famous. I could send you the video. She was just went off or whatever. She was like, I don't have to hide my skin color. I am beautiful. I'm tired of this.
So Pose is coming out on season 2.
Pose.
Yes, tomorrow.
And it's about the African American first drag queen?
No.
Well, it's the community, the whole ballroom, the whole drag show, back in the 60s, 70s, that the community, the only gay community that we had, when you go and you dress as a ballroom, you know what I'm saying, drag queen, you know, everybody is very serious in the gay community, you know what I'm saying. The whole start of the whole drag, the reason why RuPaul has Drag Race, all this stuff, it all started, you know, in New York.
So let's get Bridges started.
Welcome to Bridges.
Welcome to Bridges. Ashely, say welcome to Bridges.
Welcome to Bridges.
We're Bridges Live, and I'm Dr. Paul.
And I'm Hope Dyer.
And that is Miss Ashely Johnson, CEO of Just Be You magazine. She is in Houston. She is just one of the staples part of our shows that gives us that other corner of opinion from down south.
Yeah.
Because us northerners, we may not know so much.
What? No, we know a lot.
Yeah.
So, but you know, we're gonna a couple of things. Is that you, Miss Ashely? A couple of things I want to talk about that we've been brought up on a conversation. It's about a few times.
Yeah.
It's about men, and these are all sex conversations. Sex conversations.
Not all sex.
Well,
I guess the root of it is sex. Because babies come from sex.
Yes.
Okay.
But also, we're talking about why men, and I want to hear from some of you people out there. You know, you can always text us or comment on us and we'll answer, but why do men embellish about having sex with women? Mm-hmm. And that's the start of it.
That is the start.
So what
is this?
It's the
start of something new.
Look at you. No, I don't know what that's
High
from.
School Musical.
Oh.
It's literally like in the first 10 seconds of the first High School Musical.
No. No.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean, Hope, baby. I've seen it.
I've seen it too.
Sure you have.
I don't remember the song. So why do men embellish having sex with women, or why is it that's their only seen principle of conquest?
Right. Or why do they have to have conversation
over it?
In like a what's it called? Like in not in like a kind way. It's more of like in a.
It's derogatory.
It's a negative way.
It's derogatory. It's a derogatory way.
It's derogatory, like versus as when women.
Like an ownery way. Like I owned that.
Yeah, like I was with this girl and that's mine.
Right.
It's like a point system. Like a point
See,
system.
Right.
That's scary.
Oh my God! In SBU there was a case because there was these high school students to get on their football team. They had you had to have a conquest. And you had to write your name and then who you had slept with under your name. And the more you had, the better it was. You remember
the rise of Carrie too? Remember that? That happens all the time in high school and colleges, all the sororities and stuff like that. They still do that stuff.
Yeah.
So okay, first let's back up a little bit. I'd like to welcome everybody on Instagram Live and then Facebook Live, and then of course the podcast comes out tomorrow or Wednesday, and you can listen to the podcast on Apple Tunes and iHeartRadio. So Bridges Live, we like to come in here, and what we like to do is to get you from here to there. And a lot of things that we talk about, hopefully it's about communication, conversation, and about understanding, knowledge, and not just a truth, but an action. Because if we're going to talk about men they're just not doing what the hell they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Okay? I kind of go on this, and I've said this before to you ladies, is that I just think men aren't being taught from elders or responsible adult men to say, hey, little brother, don't do this, man. This is not how you treat our women. Because in all of that, I think it's like it's the progression of where we are in this sick society of men still not treating women with
respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
So if I treated you as a point system, as a high school football player, we'll use what you talked about, Ashely, then if I'm a manager hiring you, am I still looking at you as a point system?
Or is it looking at you as, probably, because right? And if a man is hiring a woman, he's thinking, I have to make,
Say again, Ashely?
That's correct. Because honestly, even with the hiring, if a man hires women hire women, because there have been so many different studies where a dark-skinned girl versus a bright-skinned girl, or a white girl versus a Mexican girl. There have been studies where they actually pick from their looks. You know what I'm saying? Because the different, the girls that didn't get picked had like the better skills, the better qualifications, the better education, everything, but yet they did not get hired because they wanted other girls.
Someone told Hope that your curls were unprofessional.
That I should straighten my hair to go to an interview.
Right. Yeah, that happens all the time. Even the girl, the black girl that got, that she was so hurt. The school told her that she couldn't go to the school because of her braids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This the black girl going to an all-white school. I think it was a private school that they have paid tuition and stuff to go to. Told this black girl she cannot go to this school because of her braids.
So to me, that's part of the slave mentality that we either kept in or you put yourself in. Because you're like, well, I want this. See, we'll do the job. I want this job. I want to make a good impression.
Right.
I think I'm, I got this.
But I have to do this.
But I have to do this so I get an opportunity. Now, is that my sickness or is that us sickness?
That's us sickness.
It's us sickness.
A societal sickness?
It is a societal sickness, but we fall into the trap by saying, I do have to straighten my hair.
Right.
So you perpetuate it.
I'm a walking victim of that because I used to wear weave. Oh baby, yes. Girl used to love her some weed, baby. Yes, she did. But then I was like, I just got, at the end of it, I was like so over it because as you become awake and so stuff gets so much clearer, I've noticed, yeah, this my mane is beautiful. I have beautiful hair, but it's me. You know what I'm saying? Is and some people, I hear the girls, now let me see your hair done, I've been seeing you've been rocking in your rehab nowadays, girl, I like you with the wet and wave in Australia or whatever. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's like, why do I have to lower and down my light to fit society because society says that this is too, loud. It's not.
So
It's
so
not.
so going
It's
so, so going back to the male question, so males keep you into this enslaved mentality of like she's always less than me. So that's why men can talk about then what you call locker room talk.
Uh,
Cause you've asked a couple of men.
yeah.
You've asked a couple of men this question. What was the question?
Why do guys feel like they can say they had sex with someone when in reality they didn't, and people still believe them?
Right.
And two of the men out of the three were unable to give me an answer because they were like, I don't know because I've never done it before. And I was like, whatever. So then I asked you, and that's when we got on the topic.
Because I think, and I just wrote something called 18 inches, and we're talking about going from here to here, right? But I think men skip this whole travel from here to their erogenous zones, and in all actuality, the we got a partner coming in. The penis is such a bad action for development, because if you're unable to think with your heart and your mind and you're only thinking with
Romeo.
with what what you want to penetrate something, then you're always going to be the sickness.
right. Because at the end of the day, men don't even realize that, honey, we can care less about your penis.
See,
You
and
know,
but do
The
men?
personality, right?
Yeah, but do you think
love,
men?
respect.
Yeah, you can talk into it.
Do you think men know
Say hi.
that women don't care less about their penis, their thing?
Most of them, you know what? They do know.
No, I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
Say
No.
no.
Egos block out all that shit. They think that just because, I'm just gonna put it down. Nah, man, it's more than that, baby. Real men know it's more than that. Because that's bull crap. But the male ego is so chauvinistic and arrogant that just think, oh yeah, if I just hit it in that right spot and now it's gonna get, nah, man. It's more than that because we can do that ourselves.
Right.
So again, does this go part about why isn't this stuff not being taught to men? And I asked you this earlier, Hope. I said maybe men don't have any elders to talk to. Maybe
They don't.
But I mean, I was thinking about just now how you said they probably don't have any male elders, but
talk to
you
women.
but maybe they don't have that female elder who is willing to talk about that and teach them in not necessarily a male perspective, but in a perspective that they don't feel like they're being put down on.
Because you're right. I think you were going to say I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I didn't. I had Nana. I had your grandmother, my mom, who was such a so many things I could say about her, but she was so open in her conversation to teaching her men to be men. She wasn't trying to raise. She wasn't trying to raise weak men. Right.
No.
But she did tell us about obviously really her perspective and what she expected.
Right.
Not what she thought you should be doing and you should serve me because you're the oldest and you need to take care. No. She never. That wasn't her makeup. That was her makeup. We do know there's women out there that are like, shit, I got an older son and I'm gonna make sure he's my man.
man.
Yeah,
Or,
I'm gonna raise him to be my man.
Because men are breadwinners.
Yeah, I'm gonna raise him so he serves me.
You back?
So,
Yeah.
we do know that happens out there. And then when that male tries to have a mate, he doesn't know how to be a man because he's so used to being his mama's man that he doesn't know how to have a mate.
Right.
You want to say hi, Ashely?
Hi, baby. I seen him when he walked up.
This is my nephew.
This is my grandson. This is Mr. Isaac. So Isaac actually brought the conversation more to light because we were talking about with our new grandbaby Genesis and Genesis being the new beginning, and we have conversations about why is this place a little bit so off-centered, and I really think I think women have come further than what men can go. Is that my own perception, Ashely?
You're absolutely correct.
He wants you to come on camera.
We can't, and that's what threatens them. That's why. But at the end of the day,
sorry.
Like you're different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could tell that, you respect a woman. You can always tell by a man's demeanor, how they talk, you know what I'm saying, what kind of man they are when it comes to women. Rather you're that dominant man and you know, weak woman and you feel like you got to control her, or rather you can actually be that alpha male to handle another alpha female and love it. You know what I'm saying? You have different personality and realities when it comes to men. So, like, most men that are raised by women, strong women like me, like your mom, like your nana, they come out to be magnificent men because we teach them to be not only a man, but how to be good for a woman.
So we have a comment and by a man, and I want to read this. I think that most men treat women with respect and understanding. They don't need what?
They don't need your constant advice.
They want to be heard and listen. Now, and then it says that Napoleon Hill studied the successful men and their motivation. So I think what Robert was trying to say is that men aren't being heard. And so they.
I feel like they're being heard. I feel like they're just using the wrong words. If they feel like they're not being heard, then they need to start using different vocabulary because their vocabulary is what's twisting it up and making it. If they're not intentionally trying to be disrespectful, but their words are disrespectful. And remember, we spoke about how people don't think about how their words are when they say it. And if they're not trying to be disrespectful, then you should really consider different word choice because your words are very disrespectful.
Right. So and then I would have to say on Robert's take, I think actually we're getting a lot of feedback from you. I think some men. And it's tough to have a conversation because only few men would learn how to express themselves, right?
Yeah. I know we're not talking about all men.
Right, yeah, so it's almost like
let's just clarify, we're not talking about all men. We're just talking about the few that are in the corner right here.
See, and that's why I think also we have another person that says I think they need to want to talk about and share this on a deeper emotional level.
But we also spoke about how men aren't taught to talk on an emotional level.
We've talked about that before, that if men aren't talked about how to talk about an emotional level, it would cut down on suicides of men.
Yeah.
It would cut down on abuse, whether it be drug abuse or any abuse, right? Alcohol, or it could be gambling. It could be any type of.
The person, anything, just talk. And learn to be sensitive. It's okay to be sensitive, and that's the main problem of society. Society and the culture. So a lot of cultures, you can't cry, you can't have, you feel you gotta be a man, tough, tough, tough. And it's like, no, honey, you have to talk about your problems, especially when it comes to your mate and your wife. We should be the main ones to know what's bothering you and what's wrong. And you should be open up and be sensitive enough to talk to me about that and know that I'm not going to judge you, and just know that makes us closer, because when you're popping off for no reason, I know why.
And even if it is bad news, like, why would you not talk about it? Just because my reaction is going to be crying.
Or a reaction. Even if you knew your reaction or a reaction is going to be a reaction. What does that have to do with telling you?
Yeah, you should still tell me, because that's communication. That's a deeper level.
A deeper level, that's trust. That's love.
Exactly.
If I devote my heart and my life to you, and say that you're my wife, you're my husband, then I should be able to tell you anything.
Right.
I should be able to tell you anything.
So
I don't care how bad, how deep it is. I don't care if I got a sick, twisted sexual experience I want to experience. I should be able to tell you.
There you go. But it's not. So, do we have to have continuous trauma to fight our way through awareness and self-consciousness? So let me ask you this question, Miss Ashely. Would you be the woman you are now if you didn't go through all the bullshit you went through?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, so would you say you needed to go through all the trauma for you to be where you? Well, then we're in trouble, because so many.
You know what? I'm gonna say no. You know what? No, I didn't have to go through the trauma, because a lot of stuff could have been avoided with better
communication,
better
education,
support, or a better way of, man, it's crazy, we just talked about this, of traditions, being raised, or
what about community?
Community, definitely community. So yeah, I didn't want the trauma, but you know what? I would have been better without the trauma. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because of the trauma, a lot of bullshit that I have damaged because of the trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Trust problems.
I've done stuff because of the trauma. You know what I'm saying? I'm still dealing with the trauma, so it's got me having different issues that I have to still deal with as an adult. You know what I'm saying? So no, you're right. Let's nip that in the bud and stop it before it even happens. Like we say, my mom and my family, we have very, a pouty mouth. I call it pouty mouth. I have, it's not just.
You said potty mouth.
I used to think it was me, but it was something wrong with me. But then I'm going back and I'm really sitting down looking like, no. I was raised. I mean, that's how y'all was talking. That's what it was,
But I think some people have a problem, or not necessarily a problem, but a hard time looking at what they're doing and seeing it as wrong. You know what I'm saying?
You mean judged?
And how I figured that out is because I actually have to look at myself when I was in a relationship with somebody that was not raised on cussing and trauma and what I went through or whatever. So that me just talking to them normal, they thought I was just popping off. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not even, but I get it, So I had to look at myself, say, you know what, you really need to evaluate what's wrong with you. Let's see what happened. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, you do that. Why do you do that? Well, because this. You know what I'm saying? So let's fix it. So yeah, it's you have to look at.
But I really think people have a hard time looking at, okay, I think this way because why? Well, X, Y, and Z. I was thinking that people need to put themselves in other people's shoes, which people having a hard time doing that too.
That's compassion. But that's compassion.
But I think the first step would be looking at themselves.
Yes. And that is number one.
That is number one.
Do that because people don't want to do that because they mean that they will have to blame themselves. They
exactly.
They would have to take that shit. And some people don't even know how to take it, that they would, even though you know you have to take it, they still will put it off on somebody else.
So, just because everyone knows, just recently, the oldest one, Raven, Long Flight, just had Genesis. And Genesis, in her name, is the beginning, right? But I was talking with Hope before Genesis came, and it had nothing to do with her sex or whatever, but she had to be put through this trauma of birthing, right?
Yeah.
She had to put pressure on the cervix and of the uterus.
Not Genesis, my sister.
Yeah. So, but there's a trauma coming through birth.
Right.
And in that birth, there's this new thing.
Yes.
So why are we not educating ourselves enough so we can push through this rebirth? And that's what I'm talking about. And you said, well, they just need to be told. Well, someone needs to raise their fucking hand and say, I need to learn.
Yeah. But then they would have to want to learn.
And I know that's what Ashely was saying, that it goes back to yourself.
Exactly.
But if we keep talking about, because when we do Bridges Live, when we do Living Live, when we do all of our shows, we ultimately want to put you from here to there.
Right.
We want to ask you not just the question, but we want you to start thinking. Because there's an emotional connection, there's an anthology to it, there's a manifestation to it, what you're talking about, like where is this all coming from? If it's not helping you, then we stay sick.
Yeah. But, okay, so I took early childhood in high school. Some people in college take psychology. I also, everybody actually technically has to take psychology. Which one? This one?
This one.
It says we don't have to invite trauma. It sometimes happens because stuff happens. Hold on, something else. It says we can and should learn and grow when it does not let it paralyze and stunt us.
Okay. We don't invite trauma.
No.
Because that's saying life is happening to you.
Yeah.
Right.
No, life is happening and we're part of it.
Right.
Okay? It's not, it's, yeah. And
it's all, and we can't, we don't invite it. Life is happening, like you said, you're part of it, so trauma is a part of life. Because you see trauma every day on the news.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
You see trauma when you see police officers having handcuffs on them, handcuffs on somebody. That's trauma. Like you see trauma when you have seen a dog or a cat laid out on the street dead. That's trauma.
I'm traumatized by a cop.
Me too, baby.
And what I mean is that, and I have police officer friends, I have cop friends, I have people I've known, and every time those cherries go on, and I'm driving.
Oh my God! I always think it's me.
I say, oh no, what? I hope it's not me. Make sure I don't make any. And I'm thinking, shit, I ain't doing anything fucking wrong. I'm not speeding. I'm like.
See, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you see how society have you second guessing yourself?
Yeah.
You know you're not doing nothing wrong, but because the police have such a bad lash on them, that you ain't gotta be doing nothing wrong to get killed. You ain't gotta be doing nothing wrong just to get pulled up. By you being a black man yourself, you don't have to be doing nothing wrong by you just being black and driving.
But my point is that I know why I feel this way.
Trauma.
I know exactly where it came from, where it started is, and I know that I stop it, and even if I am getting pulled over, which whatever, I don't want to have this hostility to a person who's doing their job.
Right.
Oh, I don't have hostility.
Like I don't want to be like, I'm flipping out, so you know what? I'm like
tense.
this. I'm tense.
Yeah, we were just talking about yesterday on the radio station. Because at the end of the day, I feel like okay, like Tamar, the green light that we had last week. She's a former law. She was a former law enforcement. She was in that. And it's crazy because, like I told her, I said, I don't want to, I hate that society have a bad name on law enforcement because I know it's a lot of law enforcement that smoke the magic flower, that when they arrest people for it, they be feeling bad because they know they got a blunt waiting on them at home.
So
you know what I'm saying?
read
So,
this one, Hope. We got a comment, so read this one. Read this one.
Sometimes pain, trauma can motivate.
What do you think?
I think
And that's absolutely correct. Correct. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I disagree.
You don't think so?
No, I know it does motivate, but here's where I disagree. I think if pain and trauma motivate you, when that is over, what happens to whatever you did with it? Let me try to make this easier. I want to make $1 million.
Right.
So with my pain and my trauma, I end up capturing the $1 million.
Right.
So, but my pain and trauma is gone now.
Because pain is temporary.
Right.
Where emotional pain is long lasting.
Long lasting. But wait a minute. So.
I would say the end of the trauma, and because you went through that, like it motivates you to not stay in it, to motivate you to be a better person to overcome that trauma.
Okay, so now that I overcome it and I made the $1 million, what do I do now? How do I get to?
You invest it.
No. What I'm saying, how do I get to the next level if I don't have pain and motivation? Pain and trauma is a motivation.
Well, someone said I was told fear is a motivator and trauma was the band-aid to cover up the source of where hurt and abuse begins.
Well, first of all, thank everyone for commenting on the show,
Awesome.
and it's awesome. We're getting a lot of great feedbacks. And I know people watching on Instagram, and I know people watching on Facebook Live, on Bridges Live. And I want to say thank you for contributing to the show, because our show is about education, about moving forward. Mm-hmm. So thank you for the comment. So in my thinking, in my mind, so what was the thing again?
It said, I was told fear is a motivator and trauma was the band-aid to cover up the source of where hurt abuse begins. I don't know.
I kind of go back to, I don't
This is the second time today that he had to fully stop everything to get the words. Wait, but technically that's what people should be doing.
Right.
Thinking about what they say first before saying it. Yep.
Yep. So
just, pointing it out.
If fear, and I write it down because I'm a writer. If fear, trauma, and pain are the action of fuel, okay? Mm-hmm. If you're going to use those fuels, those actions, then what you're doing is that you're constantly living in what you call 70 to 80% of your past.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means it's difficult for you to move forward if you're dragging this forward.
This luggage.
Yeah, because fear is only, it doesn't matter if you're afraid. You're remembering, because a memory is 70% of your past. And when we talked about this before, that condition states that if you do not move forward in your cognition of thinking, mm-hmm. then you're staying in a reproductive past. You're staying in a trauma state mind,
and
where
that's
you just
where
keep
you're stuck. Remember, we were saying how we can notice kids progressing.
Yes,
but we never really notice adults progressing.
Right. That
stops progression.
Yes. Your past, your state keeps you stuck into that action. So
can the trauma and pain motivate become healed?
No, because that's like trying to stop the rain from yesterday. It rained yesterday, right? It washed out your picnic. Okay, so you have no more picnic because of the rain.
Right.
So what you're saying is, let me make a new picnic and it'll make up for what has happened. No, it's just a completely new picnic.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a new picnic. That's it.
It's just it. It's just a new picnic.
It's like It's like reading a chapter book, not a chapter. It's like reading a series and thinking that whatever happened in the last book is going to continue to happen in this book.
Right.
But you still know it. I get it. But you still know what happened on the series because you've already seen it.
Right.
But as you moving forward, let's move. That's why you have to keep in mind that it's called a new season. So
that's true.
Let's not keep thinking about what happened, but at the same time,
keep it in mind.
That's when the Band-Aid come in because I know what happened. Yeah, it's there. The wound is there. I know what happened in the last season, but I'm going to this new season. I don't want to think about that, but I still know. So, Dr. Paul, are you saying like, what do you? I mean, so how do we get that? You can't get it out your head because you already seen the season.
So your amygdala, you have certain parts of your brain. You have the amygdala and you have the frontal lobe. You have these things that what you call create this atmosphere of your emotional state of now, right?
Right.
And that's where we've said this before. If you're not understanding your creative manifestation of your thoughts and your actions, and you're pulling them from a past to create your future, you're not creating a future, you're just reliving the past. Right. So we've already stated that. So how do we do it? Miss Ashely says, well, so how? Or what do we do? What's the work? Well, the work is, we use this word so easily, and I know it gets thrown around, and it's called meditation. And really what meditation is, besides the different types of meditation, the different breathings, actions in meditation, the different motions of meditation, you're slowing down. Let's go back to the movie or TV. You're playing your show in such slow-mo that now you're picking out how it's moving. And that's meditation. Meditation doesn't stop things from ever happening.
It just slows it down so you can process it.
Right. So I take this cat, right? Mm-hmm. And I throw it, right? So we know where the cat landed because I threw it so fast. But in my mind,
what happened in between?
What happened in between?
Got it.
That's what meditation is. So now you're able to absorb what's happening in between in the now state.
Question.
Answer.
Can people meditate while driving?
Yes, I do it all the time.
Okay, just so that people can't say, I don't have time to meditate.
No, that's a great question because people say, well, I don't have time to meditate. Well,
yes, you do.
So meditation means, if you do this, it means concentrated consciousness. What am I? What am I? Where am I? And how am I in it right now? That's meditation. Concentrated consciousness. Because if we don't get into our higher consciousness of action, we stay in our lower forms. Because if we go back to this, so actually I keep down because of the wind. So if you have something to say, you gotta wave. So if you just want to do what we were talking about with sex and the men and sex,
right.
Any monkey can have sex. Every fish has sex. Mm-hmm. So, she's waving. There. Okay. So any lower form animal can have sex.
Right.
So what can a monkey do that as humans have the ability to do?
Think about it.
Think about it. Be actually focused on the who I am in the doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Not just this, I'm sticking my penis in it and I'm hitting it.
Because reproduction is my destiny.
Right.
So basically you're saying the men that just brag and just talk about it, there's just nothing but a bunch of monkeys.
Well, yeah, because
the smile she had.
Look at
She said,
They're not dogs, they're monkeys.
They're monkeys.
Because monkeys aren't domestic.
No.
Dogs
Can be domesticated.
Yeah.
You can train a dog.
But a monkey, as we all know, was once trained and then ripped its owner's face off.
That someone said, but pets don't close their eyes.
I'm dead.
That's funny. Pets don't close their eyes. So why do people close their eyes? Because they don't want to be involved?
Or are they getting in touch with the emotional side of it?
Or they want to separate themselves from the action.
They want to separate themselves from the emotional side of it.
That's what I think. I think they close their eyes because they don't want to be able... Because if I look at you while we're
in the
action of making love, then I'm part of you. I'm connected to you. I'm not connected to you just because I got my penis stuck in you.
Yeah, but I don't.
I'm connected to you because I want to embrace all of it.
Yeah, but I feel like you could also close your eyes and do that.
But then where am I? Do you mind? Yeah. Then where do I?
But I don't think closing your eyes the whole.
Dr. Paul, I know you ain't just talking about it the whole time.
Right, like the eye contact.
Well, I'm not.
Weird. You know what I mean?
No, what?
That's what I'm saying. Like you have to close it at some point.
I'm not saying.
You can do every now and then a little, you know. But you talking about.
No.
See?
No, I guess.
That's like.
It's like
I get it.
It's like a staring contest.
No, like.
I mean, you know good way of somebody else up you talking about.
Right.
I mean, it's fine. We can. I mean, we gonna glaze to each other. I love to look. You gonna look at me. You gonna look at me? Yes, I'm gonna look at you. But I mean.
I'm not talking about staring. I'm not talking about staring.
Okay, but that's why I closed my eyes. It's okay.
I'm not talking about staring.
Because you got the personal connection.
Yes.
Now you're getting to the emotional connection.
Yeah.
And then you could go back to
the personal connection. You can go.
You can go back and forth, but the whole.
I want to thank everyone for listening to Bridges Live. And if you don't catch the show, you can always replay the show because we'll put it on the podcast.
Right.
And I'd like to thank a lot of our supporters and our contributors to the show.
Yes.
We don't get a chance to do that enough, and I apologize, but you can always contribute to the show if you ever want to be part of the show. If you ever want to have a topic that we want to talk about a show.
Someone said that was uncomfortable and weird.
What was that? What did someone say?
That was uncomfortable and weird.
Maybe because we had our eyes open.
Okay.
Right.
So
maybe the radio version is better.
Yeah, maybe the radio show. I don't know.
Definitely we do.
One of the things I like to do about bridges is to associate a bridge. And I thought of this bridge and I wrote it down. And maybe you two, have you ever seen the movie Bridges of Madison County?
I feel like I did. It sounds very
I have to watch it.
It's with Clint Eastwood. And the reason why I picked this bridge in my head, the Bridges of Madison County, because it's such a love story. It's a love story about, in short, about a man who comes to town to take these pictures, and he ends up falling in love with a married woman, but the husband and the two kids are at a fair with their pig or cow. I think it's a pig, but it doesn't matter. So it's one of those small towns, but he's taking these life pictures for this. Remember the Life magazine?
Yeah.
Well, he's an artist, and he's been taking these covered bridges across the country. Anyhow, they fall in love, and the love becomes so deep that it just stayed with them forever, right? And when we're talking about men and women and men learning how to express themselves, not to just use this, I need to hit that, get with that, is part of...
Physical only lasts so long.
Yes, but so in Madison County, it was that emotional bond it created. And that's why I picked this bridge on the Bridges Madison County on Bridges Live. Because we don't teach, enough men don't even ask the questions that I need to learn how to be emotional connected with myself before I can be emotionally connected with some others. So I don't want to talk about any of your relationships, but Miss Ashely,
I'm here.
with the men you know, and you hang around a lot of boys, you got a lot of boys that you know, what is missing in the conversations they are having and
or
what
are not
yeah.
So what's missing in a lot of conversation is actually a male's perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because all, like you said, I do a lot of boys and youth and everything. I got 2 boys and stuff, and it's only me and my mom. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm gonna say a sense of a man needing another man's, like, that's my boy, that's whatever. Ooh, it's missing a lot. It's missing a lot in the community, especially the black community, because the males, they grow up. A lot of them grow up without that, and actually, a lot of them are not fortunate enough to have strong black mothers like us to put that into their system. So it's a lot of that missing, like some guidance, truth, male figures, and more stronger women. We definitely need more of that. And non-traditional type stuff. The tradition has to go. That tradition stuff, it has to go.
But one of the things I think I am positive about, I think it's very difficult for a woman to raise a man.
It is. But we do the best we can.
And I come from a woman who raised me.
Raised two.
Right.
And she was a powerful, sensitive woman, and she wasn't like, you need to do this, and men need to do this, and women need to do this. The one thing that she did not do was separate her teachings because of we were young boys. She just taught us to be compassionate human beings and to be on top of your game. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what's missing. Because I don't tell my son, oh, you got a woman find you a woman that can cook. No. I tell you, no, you need to cook and clean yourself.
Right.
You need to know how to take care of yourself. And get you a woman that knows how to take care of herself, and that y'all want to share each other with each other. You know what I'm saying?
But I did have this. My mother did put good men around me.
Good. And that's like I said, the male figure. It don't have to be your dad. It don't have to be a uncle.
Right.
It can be a male figure. And like I said, I have Mac is a good role model for my son.
Right.
You of course, you're a good role model for my son. You have different males in their life to teach them and say, hey, this is the way that you're doing pretty good as a young man. This is how it is. But we don't have that. That's what's missing. Compassion, teaching the right way, and male figures in their life, because the right male figures, not the other ones, not the.
Hope you had said something. Hope you had said something about being able to be in someone else's shoes. Do you want to talk about that? Because to me, there's empathy, there's apathy, and there's compassion.
Yeah.
Empathy is being able to see someone else's other side, right? I think compassion is, I don't have to see your side, but I feel your pain.
Right.
And I don't have to be able to go through it, because here's my problem with empathy. Is that I'm going back into what I've been through.
Right.
So I forget about you. You tell me you lost your dog. Now I have to remember the time I lost my dog, and I'm like, I'm so sorry for that.
I've been through it.
Yeah, I was telling you about my fucking dog. Well, I don't need to hear about your dog.
I feel like unless someone asks, you shouldn't say it, you know?
What do you mean?
Like, I'm guilty of doing it. I know I've done it 1,000 times. Of putting my situation into someone. Like, your dog died. Oh my gosh, my dog died a year ago too, and it was the hardest thing for my family. But they didn't ask how I handled it.
Right. They were talking about their dog.
Yeah,
and
unless they add, I feel like if they don't, because I know someone who went up to Ashely. It was like, because their mom had died. They were like, how did you handle it? That's asking for their advice. That's asking for how they went through it. That's them going to, that's seeking out the empathy. Whereas people just automatically throw it in there.
Right. And so now, what about compassion?
I feel like a lot of people don't have compassion because I get, you may have been there and you may have went through it, because it's a difference every time someone dies, you break up with someone, it's always a different situation.
Yeah.
You have to listen to them and how they feel to actually understand how they feel. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And then that's putting yourself in their shoes, like, man, like, that's a totally different feeling than how I felt. Like, they could feel happy that someone, that they just got in a different relationship,
right.
they're out of this relationship, and they could feel happy. You might have been, like,
devastated.
sad and devastated, but that's a totally different breakup. You're going to put your sad and devastation into their life? No, you got to embrace how they feel.
Compassion, compassion is an educated thing to do. There's no way you're going to get compassion to rain down on you and you automatically, I feel it.
Yeah, I always thought compassion's easy though.
Why?
I think it's,
For you?
I feel like it's easy to...
For you, not for everybody else, because there's a lot of people that don't have compassion. They just don't give a damn.
No, and they still stay on empathy. They still, if I didn't go through it, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
And if I did go through it, then I'm going to talk about what I've been through.
Yeah, but I also feel like when it comes to compassion, if you haven't gone through it, you feel like we can go through it together and I can help you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we do. A lot of other people don't. There's some easy people out there, for real.
That, if you're having a problem and I may not understand or have been through what you've gone through or have been handling what you've been handling or have had the weight that you had on your shoulders.
Right.
But we can do it together. I can be your shoulder to lean on so you're not the only one handling it and having this weight on your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does not have to be a one-man thing. And then you got people like, what do you mean? You can never understand what I am going through because you don't feel it. I may not feel exactly how you feel, but does not mean I cannot be there for you. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. You're right.
So we are here every Monday.
Every Monday.
And
well, I try.
You did try.
Last week I was in Mexico.
I'm here every Monday.
Ashley's here every Monday.
Last week you were doing your thing, but we're here every Monday at 8 p.m. Bridges
Right.
Live. You can always catch the podcast. It comes out on iHeart and iTunes Radio. And also, if you catch on to the links of our Instagram and our Facebook pages.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing Bridges now. It's been good. It seemed to be going on over a year. And Bridges Live is taking on its own thing, and we're doing more. We got Ashely doing a lot of promotional stuff down in Houston, which is great.
Right.
And
Magazine's out.
Yeah, the magazine is out, and if you want to be on the magazine, you got to contact us. We Just Be You magazine. You can also go to justbeyoumagazine.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can order the magazine. It's a beautiful print. Mac is just an amazing photographer. He just really is. So What else, before we log off, we got things going on. What do you got going on this week?
This week, we actually close a big distribution deal, with GT Digital. So actually, we're gonna be doing some. I'm gonna be starting to do some promotional campaigns for a couple of artists and trying to get Dr. Paul and us to do our own little album that we do, like, your healing and stuff like that. Because, hey, we can get paid for our stuff now. So, yeah. So, we're doing that. And then, of course, we got the Perfect Flower workshop and networking event coming up on the 22nd. It's a lot of things going on. We just left the radio station yesterday from 94.1 FM. They called for us back to come up on there. It's a lot of different stuff. We're actually trying to get the whole community together to get this whole, Perfect Flower thing going. And we're going to start helping a lot of more serious artists that's out here doing their thing to actually come out, and not just artists, but anybody that has any kind of, material, poetry, or, motivational speaking, any kind of material that you have, recorded and ready to get distributed. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm helping you get it out there.
And Miss Hope, what do you got? I know life seems fast for us. We have some niece and nephew.
Yeah, that's all I got going on. My
Got
sister,
the
my niece and nephew.
got the baby.
Yeah.
Working with kids, doing what we do, making life just a little bit better every time we have a conversation, and I hope this does that, and that's why we do what we do.
And they did find Malia's body.
Yes.
Found Malia's body. And he took that baby all the way to Arkansas.
To kill that baby.
She killed her here, but he took her to Arkansas, her remains. So she's found, she's buried. Well, it's a lot going on in Houston. It's a lot going on. A lot of people are hurt.
Well, everyone, I hope you pray for something other than yourself. I think if you just give strength to others, strength will come to you. That's how I feel. That's what I believe. So I'm Dr. Paul.
And I am Hope Dyer.
And that's Miss Ashely Johnson.
Ashely.
And we are Bridges Live, and we'll be signing off. And thanks everyone for joining the show. I hope you don't think we're cutting this short, because our production crew is actually shutting down our cameras as we speak. That means it's low life battery.
Oh yeah. 1%.
Like 1%, so we like to say
2%.
Extra 7 minutes next Monday. We have 7 minutes.
okay. We do not, do we?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Bye, Miss Ashely.
6 minutes now.
Bye guys.
Bye guys. See you next Monday.
Ooh, I'll turn it off before it actually dies. And then we